Welcome to the Virtual Business Cafe, and we're going to talk about something you're probably going to go, oh man, I have one of those. Never thought that's what it was called. So what if I was to tell you that we all have a GPS system, a natural GPS system? Here's an old one that I dug out because the one I have is in my car. I don't use this one anymore. This is one flavor. The other flavor is we all have a smartphone, right? Smartphone. And then there we have Apple or Android Maps or Google Maps, whatever you're using. And we have the ability to set a course. We have ability to set a course by deciding where we want to go. So we look to where we want to go and we plug in where we're at. And then the GPS system routes out a map to help us get there. It can predict the time it's going to take for us to get there. It's going to give us options on how to get there, which routes are best for us. Well, we have something in our natural organic state as a human being that is very similar to that. And it's referred to as a reticular activating system. Now, the reticular activating system, or RAS, as some people would call it, reticular activation system or reticular activating system, RAS, RAS, all of those mean the same thing. It comes down to this little piece in our mind, in our brain, right in about this area here where the arrow's pointing. And when you know how to program this, it can be your best ally. Often what I ask people when I'm doing something live and I have the opportunity to interact with people directly, I'll ask them, have they ever bought a newer type car? And what did they notice about the car? Not so much the new one and how it rides nicer, it smells nicer, it's got that brand new sheen if it's a brand new car, or it's got some features if it's a slightly newer car than what you had before. Not those things. It's the things out of that. What do they notice? And often what people notice is how many other types of cars, just like the one they bought, maybe in a different color, slightly different model, but essentially the same type of car. Well, that's part of the reticular activating system doing what it does best. It actually is, scientists say that there's a net-like group of neurons that act like a screen window. And what does a screen window do? It does a couple of things. It keeps things out that we don't want in, like mosquitoes, flies, and other flying insects. And it allows the air from the outside to come in and the air from the inside to go out at sometimes without any dangers coming in. Well, our reticular activating system does the same thing. How we activate it, though, is really important to understand. And it happens by setting goals. So in other words, where do you want to get to using the old style GPS or the modern day smartphone? Where do you want to get to? And don't worry about the how. The GPS system, the reticular activating system, will help you get the information that you need to make that happen. The reticular activating system actually controls sleeping, waking, and keeps our attention on things that are important for us, as well as things that may harm us. See down here, it talks about the threats, allows you to perceive what a threat is and to stay away from it and do what you need to do to stay safe. It's actually a very sophisticated filter. It's much more sophisticated than a screen window. But the screen window idea is something that people can easily understand. However, the complexity of the reticular activating system is much more sophisticated than a screen window or a grate to keep things going down the drain or letting some things go down the drain. It screens out the junk mail, actually. It keeps us from seeing it even. We put up blinders, or some would call them scotomas. And we have scotomas in 5 areas: sight, touch, smell, taste, And what's the fifth one I'm missing? That's the trick question. So when you get the fifth one I'm missing and send it in a message, then I'll send you I'll send you a prize, actually. And you can message me through Facebook, or you can send me an email, which you'll see my email address later when I get rid of the slides on here. The reticular activating system also allows you to see the value to get you to focus on that. So to set the GPS system, your reticular activating system, you need to decide what your goals are. It doesn't matter whether it's health related, financial, relationships, or career. Any one of those 4 key areas, you can set several goals in that area, in those areas, and your reticular activating system will have a heightened awareness and will give you tips and tricks and clues to get there. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but you've had a thought or got an idea, have an intuitive thought, and it's suggesting that you pick up the phone and call someone. You pick up the phone and you dial out, and you notice there's no dial tone. You're pressing the numbers and you dial tone, and you go, hello? Because there's dead space. You go, hello? And there's a voice on the other end goes, hello? And it's the person you were thinking of calling. Now, does it happen all the time? Absolutely not. But it does happen some of the times. And part of the reason for that is your reticular activating system. When you get an idea that comes from an inspired thought, one of the critical components of that is to act on the idea right away. If you wait a day or two, it could be too late. The hunch that you had, the idea that you had, would have faded away and will be irrelevant. I've had that happen to me before I understood how the reticular activating system worked. Back in a couple of decades ago, I was on a quest to get into the new home sales profession. And one of the things I did was played hockey with a bunch of guys. And one of the guys that I was playing hockey with was the sales manager who had the ability to hire me if I was ready to do that. Well, I wasn't quite ready, and I didn't know about the reticular activating system. But once I did the reflective thinking, like Steve Jobs says, you can't join the dots moving forward. You need to join the dots looking backwards. So that's what I was able to do. What I'm sharing here today is some of the insights that I've had along the way regarding the reticular activating system. Some people play around with this and use it to help them find the perfect parking spot right close to the door in a cold wintry night, so you don't have to walk all over the parking lot. Or if you're in a busy metropolitan area and you want to park near the curb, near the building where the people are that you want to go see, why not try it? See if you can find the spot right outside the place that you want. The reticular activating system will help you because it'll have a heightened awareness. You'll start getting clues of seeing people with their keys in their hand and walking towards a car, and then putting you in a position to be able to fill the spot that they vacate. Is that going to help your career a lot? Probably not. It's just a fun way to figure out how this can work or not, depending on you. Again, the key to this, though, is to set your goals. Once you set your goals, then you'll see you do not see first. And once they've been set and you've planted the seeds into your reticular activating systems, go back one slide here, and the seeds get planted in here. If you could put a goal in each one of these squares, and each one of these squares could be something that your reticular activating system brings to you in terms of ideas, people to talk to, books to read, places to go, etc. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have an example of where you've used your reticular activating system or you had an aha moment around it, send me a message via Facebook and or by my email address, which is going to be popping up behind me right up here. It's phil@coachphil.ca. Love to hear what you have to say. If you have an idea or concern as an entrepreneur business owner that you'd like a question answered, send us the question. We'll see what we can do. If I don't know the answer, I will get an expert on and invite you to that session once we have the expert available. Wishing you much abundance and much success. Have a great day.